celebrate Cybersecurity Awareness Month, it is important to acknowledge that awareness goes beyond just protecting software. It's about amplifying the voices and experiences of those driving innovation and change. That's what today's session is all about, and I'm especially excited because it holds personal significance to me as a woman in cybersecurity. It's an honor to introduce our Women in Security panel, celebrating the incredible women shaping the future of this industry. Today's session will be moderated by the brilliant Viraj Gandhi, Product Security Manager at SailPoint and a longtime PBC member. She will be leading us through today's discussion with three exceptional leaders in cybersecurity. Elena Teverovskaia, Engineering Director of Application Security at Athena Health. Tiauna Ross, Senior Director of Cybersecurity at a Fortune 500 medtech company, and Yuliana Martirosyan, Senior Director of Application Security, Engineering and Operations at Visa. I'm beyond excited for the insights these trailblazing women will share with us today. And now I'll hand it over to Viraj and our panelists, who will kick off with personal introductions. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much, Stella, and thank you, Purple Book community, for setting up this panel. Let's dive into the world of cybersecurity, where women are breaking the barriers and leading the way. As we observe the Cybersecurity Awareness Month this October, like Stella mentioned, definitely we also want to honor the vital role what women has been playing in shaping the cybersecurity with the unwavering determination, courage, and achievements. So before we begin, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm Viraj Gandhi, currently Product Security Manager at the SailPoint, and have done successfully shift-to-left transformation at a various company, solving the challenges around the application security, supply chain security. And also I've been involved in many communities that empower the women to succeed in this industry. I'd like to pass the mic to our panel to introduce themselves, starting with Elena.
Oh, hi. So my name is Elena Teverovskaia. I go by Lena. I've been working in security for a long time. So as of now, I am a director of application security in Athena Health in Boston. I've been here for almost 6 years. Before that, I worked for the telecom company called Verizon. Most of you know it. And, they couldn't be any more different. Verizon was a very large employer, public company, and Athena is a lot smaller, privately held. And yet, obviously, there are some similarities in how we work in security. And before that, I was a programmer for US federal government for NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Next, over to you, Tiauna.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tiauna, and presently the areas of security that myself and my team focus on are multi-cloud security, and all of the clouds are there. AppSec, of course, AI security being the newest and most recent innovation to tackle there, and then also the ERP security aspects in my present role. I like to tell people that I am a CPA to CISP. I started off in finance systems and transformations and ERP implementations to compliance to security. So I've been in security for a number of years now, but definitely appreciate having the opportunity to speak to everyone today and to share insights on this panel. Thank you.
Over to you, Yuliana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yuliana Martirosyan. I'm heading the application security here at Visa. We make sure that every line of code is secure. Every transaction, every time you swipe your card, we are making sure that it's all secure and the connections are secure. So we focus on application security. AI security is huge these days. So I'm very excited to be here, very excited to be part of this discussion and this panel, and hoping to have good questions today.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. So before we dive into the roundtable questions, just wanted to tell the audience, please feel free to share your thoughts, question in the chat window. Stella and Jeremy will be moderating that. Okay, well, I'm super excited. Like, I see so many women in the cybersecurity. We have this room full of the women in the security, so definitely we are rocking. And as a woman, I always get curious of whenever I see the other woman in the cybersecurity space, the first question pops in my mind to ask them that, what was the inspiration to pursue this cybersecurity field? So I'd like to learn from you, Tiauna, that what inspired you to pursue this career in the security? And it is known as it is a male-dominated field. And how did you overcome any initial obstacle you faced?
So I will share how I ended up in cybersecurity. And it was really, I didn't see myself in cybersecurity. It wasn't even on my radar, but an IT leader who I respected deeply and highly respect, he called me about the opportunity and said, just wanted to point out, this opportunity is here. I think you can do it. I think you'd be excellent at it. You don't have to apply, but just know that you could if you wanted to. And just that one short 5-minute conversation inspired me to look, inspired me to dig and research and actually apply myself to understanding what it would mean. And I thought, this is a great way to converge all of these different skill sets into a focus on protecting something that matters. And so I really resonated with it. But I had a sponsor, a man, who pointed out to me that you could do this. Otherwise, I would not be. And I think at least the takeaway from that is even if you're not a woman in security, you can always encourage women in security. So that's how I'm in, and I love it. I really love working in cybersecurity.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear that you found your sponsor early while you are still figuring out in the cybersecurity space. Lena, maybe do you want to share your experience?
So I was a programmer and I was working on cryptography libraries. And so that's how I started, right? It was just part of development environment at my company. And that's how I sort of got my foot into security. And then, in terms of getting into lead roles, like I think, just as the previous speaker said, you need a mentor when you work, and you also need a sponsor. And there is a difference between two, right? Mentor is somebody who talks to you, and sponsor is somebody who talks about you. And so I think I had this, sort of coworker who really trusted me with the leadership role. And that's what, enabled me to progress my career.
That's great. So maybe, Lena, I'll still want you to discuss, you mentioned about the mentorship. So definitely, as you rise in the ladder, we look for a mentorship, we look for the coaching, right? So maybe starting with you first, who were your role models, mentors that contributed to your growth and confidence as a security leader? And then maybe I'll also learn from you, Tiauna and Yuliana.
Yeah, so I had, a person close to me who worked in this role, and it wasn't always smooth, right? You could tell that, it was a role with a lot of responsibility, right? She was a CISO for the organization. She was responsible for a lot, right? And as a woman in security, she often found herself in a room full of men, just like we all did. And we still do, quite frankly. Right? Just look at some of the conferences you're attending. And so, I looked at how she handled it. And I just simply thought if she could do it, then, I could do it, right? And so becoming a leader sort of was easy when I saw somebody in that leadership role.
It's amazing. Yuliana, do you want to share about your mentors, the role model that played a very pivotal role in your career?
Absolutely. I think, as Lena said, very good point here, that as you see someone, you relate to their experiences, and you can actually, think, okay, I can do that. I think I can do attitude is the most important thing. For me, role models always change over my career. I know that it will always be different. When I was a student, I read a book about this person, mathematician 𝗍ecie𝗲𝗶𝘀𝗁𝘁𝘀𝗁. So in order to attend a school, a university, she had to pretend to be a man. She had to wear men clothes to attend a university. And then even when she got, busted, she had to get married because unmarried women wouldn't be able to attend the university. And then it was such an eye-opening moment for me because I was attending university. I didn't want to go to school, right? Every morning you need to wake up and go. And then here they are, women who are breaking all these barriers to just get into a math program. So she was the first actually math professor in Northern Europe, and that really inspired me. And over my career, I had so many good people who inspired, who mentored me. My current CSO at that time, he was a VP. He inspired me incredibly with the patience and understanding how things are handled and how the thought process need to be there, thinking through every step of the way. And honestly speaking, right now, my inspiration is my daughter because, and my mentor, because as I grow, I started understanding that there are things that I want to do so that women can have choices in their career, so they don't face challenges or any uncertainties. And now she's an inspiration for me. I want to make things differently. I want to pave the path for her and for other female cybersecurity professionals, or any professionals actually, cybersecurity, whether it's cyber or in any other field, female professionals, to be able to achieve what they want to achieve and have choices. Yeah, I think that's basically it. But I'm thinking that over time, many more inspirational role models will come in my life. I'm hoping for that. I'm always open for it.
Yeah, totally agree with you of being the path forward. Tiana, do you like to add something over here? Talk about your mentor role model?
So I agree that mentors change over time, but I would like to put out a concept that I picked up over time that really works well for me. And it's your mentors with an S are your trusted advisors that you can count on to give you sound advice. They're going to be honest with you. They have experience, and they are willing to point out your blind spots because you have that trusted relationship, and you need more than one at any given moment. It's like a board of directors, almost your personal career board of directors. That's how you use mentors, because when you get into tough spots, you need to have enough perspective. A lot of times we can be hyper-focused on our own perspective and things. And over time, my mentors with an S have given me advice on, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about handling it this way? Oh, I know someone who knows how to do that. Let me connect you with them. Mentorship evolves from individual contributor to leader of leaders. But along the way, you need to have people that you can count on, that you trust, admire, and that will really be honest with you to help you along the way. They can be inside your company, they can be inside your function, they can be outside. But you need to have a balanced perspective on your career so that you can develop over time.
Awesome, Tiana. Love hearing to find the advocate for yourself, right? Whether it's inside the company or outside the company. As Lena mentioned earlier, definitely as a woman, we might have faced or had an experience like once in a lifetime or multiple time of uncomfortness when we are surrounded with the room full of a man, or we are attending the conference where we are not seeing more women. So along those lines, maybe I'd like to hear from you, maybe Lena, starting with you first, like how you were able to handle those uncomfortable situations and speak up in a room full of a man.
Yeah, so I have a story that sort of is one of those that you remember forever. So I got an email, and the salutation in the email was gentlemen, right? Gentlemen, comma, and we'll need to do something. And I was the only woman on that distro list, right, on the distribution for that email. And I really was offended. I thought about this, and I was like, well, what do I do? And the man who sent it was in a position of authority. And we also work in security, we can't just ignore emails, right? So I read through it, and it did ask about certain actions. And the way I handle it, maybe it wasn't the best, but I will tell you my personal story. And so when it came to the meeting where we were asked about the action items that the email discussed, I said that I did not do any of them. My group did not work on any of that. And I, owed an explanation, obviously. And I said, I didn't think the email was addressed to me, right? And so whether it was the right way or the wrong way to handle this, it never happened again. So that's my story.
Nice. Yeah, I really like, and that also tells me that, for everybody, always look through the salutation, how it has been addressed, rather just jumping on reading the email and taking the actions. So yeah. Tiauna, do you have any story to share around this?
Actually, I do. So I had the benefit of coming and overcoming that earlier in my career. But again, my boss at the time would have these meetings, and people from all over the world in different functions would be a part of it. And mind you, this is my first job out of college. So that kind of global exposure with people who had 20 years plus experience, being in that environment and being, again, a female as well, I was very quiet. So I'd get on these calls and a lot would happen. And then after the call, I would say to my boss, oh, what about this, this, and this, and that? And so there were a couple of meetings where he let that go. The third time I did it, he said, Tiauna, I hired you because you are smart, because you have ideas that people don't think of, and because you are very strategic. I want you to speak up. You belong in this conversation when the conversation is happening. Find a way to do that. Don't shrink yourself. So I did. Not shrink myself. And that has worked out for me. And it's not to say that sometimes it's not awkward, but I never assume that what I'm feeling is something that can stop me from proceeding and from making the difference and impact that I'm in the room to do. So if you're in the room, you're supposed to be there. And you don't have to change or shrink yourself because you're there to add value. And as long as you do that, you will continue to progress. But don't let being different from everyone else stop you, because that's what security needs right now. We actually need more diversity to actually overcome the challenges that we have. More diversity across all different spectrums. So you being the only one in the room is a good sign. It's a sign that we are strengthening those unique perspectives across. So speak up.
Yeah.
Speak up when you're in the room.
Totally agree with you. Like, we have to speak for yourself, and really like that. Never shrink your thoughts, right? Always express it. So we all know the cybersecurity professional, it's a very stressful professional, and the mental health is so important. So our audience would like to learn from a panel about any bit-sized tips you have for our audience around the self-care and the resilience, like what all self-care practices, strategies you guys maintain for your physical and mental health in this high stressful professional. Maybe we'll start with Tiauna.
So I do something completely unrelated to de-stress. I color. I have colored pencils, all kind of gel pens, adult coloring books, which really are just coloring books, but they say adult on them so that I will buy them and not feel silly. But I do that because, yes, cybersecurity is very serious. It can be stressful, and sometimes you just want to color something just to kind of de-stress. And then also yoga, mindfulness, exercises, but whatever that is for you, don't think anything is too silly. If it works for you, it works for you. And that's, that's at least my input to this.
Nice. Yuliana, do you want to share something? Any tips you have for our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Tiauna, that's such a cool thing. Coloring, I love that idea. I've never tried, but definitely something to try. So for me personally, I figured out one thing is a little late, but I figured it out. That the best thing you can do to help yourself in a stressful environment is acknowledging the fact that you need help. So many of us actually don't realize that, okay, all this stress is pushing so much on me. We need to do something about it. After realization, I figured out, okay, there are techniques that work for me. I was listening to other people. Some people are running, some people are, jumping with parachutes. For me, it was definitely yoga and swimming, two of the things that I like from, I was in gymnastics, so yoga was easy for me. And I understood that, okay, this is a smooth sailing. And then similarly, swimming, I always swam when I was a kid, so it was easy as well. And actually, recently, I read a blog from our CTO, Rajat Taneja, who's a CTO, and he mentioned a technique that I want to share with everyone. It's called 3-2-1. So avoid food 3 hours before you go to sleep. Do your exercises 2 hours before you go to sleep. And then no electronics 1 hour before you go to sleep. It was another eye-opener for me, and then I tried doing that. Electronics part is a little tricky, but I'm there. I'm getting there. I'm working on myself, but the rest of it, it really like makes such a big difference, especially as you have the routine to do certain things. It helps. So I highly recommend, and this is a great advice.
Awesome. Lena, will also like to hear from you, like what you do for your self-care, how you cope up with the pressure.
I take a walk, and it's helped a lot in the stressful situations at work. So I learned something from my daughter's high school coach, who told us as parents to never call him right after something happened, right? Give it 48 hours. That's what he always asked. He said, I want to hear from you, but I don't want to hear from you first 48 hours. And if it's still important after 48 hours, call me, right? And so if I really think like something deserves a huge escalation, number one, I think about whether it can wait for 48 hours, and then I take a walk, right? So sometimes you're really tempted to send that one email escalating things. It's helped me to just take a walk before I do that.
Awesome. Yeah, some good options I got today for like coloring, walking, swimming, and like 3-2-1 strategy. It's awesome. Maybe we should put into the practice on day-to-day life. The next one is about giving back to the community, like lifting the others. I myself, like in my early careers, like I was signing up wherever I used to see some mentorship program as a mentee, but like as I gained experience and confidence myself, I started signing up as a mentor as well. And I still feel I always sign up like mentee, mentor, both in the program, because I still feel I still have to learn a lot in my career. And now I'm pretty confident that I can give back to the community, like inspire the young women and support them to shine in this security field. So I like to learn from you, Yuliana, like, how, and you mentioned like, paving the path forward. So like, what all you have been doing for lifting the others up?
Personally, I think that is why I became a leader. And now I'm realizing that this is the most important thing in my life, in my career, is to make sure that we lift other other ladies into the leadership role. Definitely organizing different events is important, making sure. I will say that it has been very successful, just simply hiring females. Like, I don't know how that works, but it works magic, because it helps the team to feel confidence, to make sure that we talk about things and we speak up. 30-40% of the team, if it is diverse, it's a success. It brings new thoughts, new ideas to the table. Absolutely, I believe in mentorship, good mentorship practices, discussing with teams. So all of it is highly important. I think as a leader, it's our main responsibility to bring to the table all these different discussions. And one thing as well that I noticed is as we bring the team, as we bring the diversity and the mentorship, especially in hiring, and I want to reemphasize the hiring part because sometimes we tend to, to rely on interviews or in the discussions on certain areas, but we oversee, like, for example, a person can feel differently during discussions, and oftentimes girls are different, especially girls after school when we are hiring, like after a master's degree or bachelor's degree. It is difficult to speak up, as everyone here is saying. It is difficult to be bold. We want to hire people who are bold, of course, but we as well want to have people who have empathy, empathetic people who can understand others and understand how team is functioning. So building that community is important. Another area I believe is definitely bringing the knowledge to others. Visa has released payment certification program. So that actually gives a lot of boost for cybersecurity professionals and female professionals, just having, or any other certifications, right? Having that badge. And I highly always recommend the teams and young professionals to go through this type of programs and understand better.
Nice, interesting. Tiauna, do you want to add something here?
Yes, I will say, in addition to creating an environment that successfully develops women in cybersecurity, reaching the early education aspects of this is also important. Our team every year hosts a program for girls 2nd through 8th grade where they can learn cybersecurity skills on a Saturday morning, and also host an awareness session for their parents. But what it does is it gives them, a foundation on cryptography, for example, and how that works, like the handshake and how the internet works, different protocols. They learn that at their grade level on one day, and if they're Girl Scouts, they also earn 3 badges in the same day as well. But what it does, what we found over time, is that by having the professionals out in the field with the girls, working through fun activities, making it fun to learn, they take away a positive experience associated with what is cybersecurity. And then it gives them the way to see themselves potentially. It at least eliminates, can I do something like this? Yes, is the answer. And they take away that awareness on how to be safe, but also the ability to see themselves possibly doing it. And I think we'll see over time where that leads us, but the entire life cycle is important, not just when they get to our workplaces.
Yeah, awesome. So we have many young women in the audience today, and they would like to get some advice, steps of pivoting into the security. So what advice, like maybe starting with you, Yuliana, you want to give to the next gen?
Thank you. I think this is another very important question and very important aspect to focus. And for this, I actually asked a younger professional in my team, and I was asking, hey guys, what is it that really, would make a difference or made a difference in your career? So the response that I got is actually getting exposed into different areas of cybersecurity early in the career. So if there are opportunities, and this is very prescriptive, if there are opportunities to go and do in here at Visa, we call it Go Share program, when you are spending some percentage of your time in other fields of cybersecurity. You can do like cyber engineering and application security at the same time. Or if you have access, as I mentioned, to to certification or courses that will open up your perspective, that is another big thing to go and explore. I think having those two early in your career will give you an opportunity to understand what works better for you, and then whatever works better, and then whatever creates that butterflies in your stomach when you're doing your job. For me, it was, for example, pen testing, like exploiting stuff, right? You just cannot, sit, you cannot close your laptop till you get to that, dump of the database, or someone can, like understand the logs and find account takeover. That's a perspective. And then another thing as well as a cybersecurity, and that goes not just to female cybersecurity, but to any cybersecurity professionals, is ground yourself early in your career on a couple of pillars. Zero trust. Again, this is very prescriptive, but I want to make sure that we give advices that will work for folks. Zero trust is super important as a cybersecurity professional. Ground yourself on that, understand the importance. Shift left, understanding how things are working on the left side of the release cycle, how you can improve the productivity of the developers on the left side, and defense in depth. I think those three pillars have been the pillars for me, the guiding principles for me in my cybersecurity career. So I hope that will help. And definitely exploration of yourself and your technical passion.
That's a great advice. I just wanted to add to that. I always tell the 3 words to remember is network, learn, and adapt. There are tons of the nonprofit communities, organization are there that are helping for those who are interested in pivoting into the cybersecurity. Like, always sign up as a volunteer. You can be volunteer to attend those conferences. And also many times the SENS is also providing the scholarship for doing the certification. So always make sure you have subscribed to those communities so that you get to know what's happening, and you get easy access. And always try to identify what are the skills needed for your career aspiration, and try to reach out for the mentorship that can help you to achieve your goal. And Yuliana said, that always speak up, you are like the captain of your ship. Your life, it's your leadership. Just you need to look for a venue. There are the tons of the venue out there to support you. It's just you have to speak up for yourself. So I think this was our last questions. Thanks for amazing discussions. And yeah, I'm really impressed with the panel for sharing your inspiring stories and the valuable insights. Few takeaways I personally got for myself is find your sponsor inside and outside your organization who can be an advocate for you, pave path forward. Speak yourself, don't shrink. And yeah, amazing story, amazing experience. Shared by our panel today. I think we still have time, so let's open a floor for Q&A.